So, sorry, I had an interruption. Um, but there's a patience that comes from this kind of wisdom. There's a stillness because I think that real wisdom, as it said, it brings humility. And part of that humility, I think, is knowing that God is inviting us into a wisdom and that we are all in His timing. And God doesn't need us at all. He doesn't need us to do things like that. He can move, he can move anyone, he can do anything, and he can accomplish his purposes through anything. And so when he is moving us, when he is bringing wisdom, there is a be still and know that he is God that should counteract that frantic, we got to do this thing, we've got to start this, we got to make this happen, we got to. And so this for me is part of that measure, the gentleness, the compliant, full of mercy and good fruits, and without inconsistency and or an insincerity. And that's the other thing, is sometimes insincerity is there even if we don't, because we so think, oh, this is a good thing, we should do this, and it's the should do, not necessarily really truly being moved, but you feel like it's not really sincere exactly, and and the mercy, full of mercy, because sometimes when we have these insights into the world that are based on worldly wisdom that seems wise, right? But there's a it's not so much full of mercy but full of judgment, and it might not feel so much like judgment at the time, like because it seems to logically make sense, but when it isn't full of mercy, when it isn't taking into account um, just all of the things and other people in the world that require mercy and grace from us, then we're not seeing it clearly without mercy, because God sees things with mercy, and so if we are in judgment saying this needs to be this way and that's got to be that way, and I don't that doesn't feel like it's from above. It's too frantic, it's too chaotic. And what it's basically saying in this chapter here, to me, what I read it as, is it's saying that wisdom of this kind does not come down from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. And honestly, a lot of the earthly wisdom, the things, the policies, the things that we um, take a stand on, and basically hot button issues, whatever, it does seem very demonic to me. And because there's also a deception involved in it, because sometimes, and they're very much, to me, when emotion comes first, the chances are it's not from God, because what God brings, I believe, does create emotion. But it comes from that stillness. Those emotions come out of that peace. And demonic things move our emotions very quickly first, because then it's so much easier to deceive. And once the deception starts, it's so much easier to just keep it going that way. And I think that if you look at the fruit of a lot of worldly wisdom, like really looking at it, not like, oh, this immediate thing, this thing that we've, like, let's just say some kind of, we've created this thing and it's good and it will do this and it will help us all, right? But people don't look like 5 steps down the road. For example, the smartphone, it's great and it will do this thing. Okay, but then what happens after that has been created? Okay, now it is open to all of these things, and now it's like younger and younger kids are getting, and now it's these kids are bullying each other online, and now it's, people have a hard time continuing the stream of, like, okay, where is this leading to, and because, well, because there's a hurry and a push and a fast pace to a lot of this stuff. And I just feel like godly wisdom is still, is because it's truth, and truth is immovable, and truth isn't in a hurry. Truth isn't scared of anybody's facts or anybody's opinions. Truth is truth, and I just, I don't know. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace for those who cultivate peace. And peace is difficult to cultivate in a world that is frantic and hurried and rushed and opinionated and argumentative. Like we've gotten so bad at listening to people with the intent of understanding what they mean, not jumping all over what they say, but trying to get to what do you actually mean, and clarifying and saying, well, what you said, it sounds like what you're saying is this. Am I understanding you correctly? Like those kind of things. We we cultivate um, a climate that makes people feel like they have to yell louder and louder and be more and more obnoxious just to be heard because people aren't actively listening. And it doesn't cultivate peace. It cultivates everything we see that is against peace in our world. And I don't know. I just think that this is really important to, because also when you're given a measure like this for um, wisdom for your actions, and are they from, is this something God's leading you to do, for discernment, whatever, when you have a measure, you have to like be still long enough when things are going on to really measure, and humble enough to say, Lord, I need to measure this thing. Like help me to see it clear. Like help me to see where where is this not pure, or where is this not peaceable. Um like reveal it, because God will reveal those things to us if we are humbly asking him to show us the error of our ways, or where we're off. um he, I believe 100% that that's what he wants us to do, is to bring it to him and ask him to show us, where's my belief off, where am I being steered by something that's not you. And but that starts with the humility part, and that's something that when we get going on a path, we forget that we need to stop every mile or so and check, am I still acting, because it might start in humility and then we just get going, and we forget to be humble and submissive and bring it before the Lord, and reevaluate, because things always so often start off with truth, start off with the right thing, and then they get twisted, they get messed up, and we weave in worldly doctrines when we don't mean to. And but anyway, I think I've said more than enough.